I am back. I want to say better than ever, but I'd be lying. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it has been a minute, however, I am back. I want to say better than ever, but I'd be lying. So I want to get on here to talk about just kind of being single, just in general, but also being single during Valentine's Day. I have actually never ever really had a Valentine's. I feel like I've had a crush around Valentine's Day, but it's never been reciprocated. So it's kind of like, actually, I just realized I kind of did have a Valentine. In 7th grade, I had a crush on someone who was a year older than me, and that was technically my first kiss. He kissed me on the cheek after the 7th and 8th grade dance, and I was freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, he kissed me on the cheek. It was not a big deal, but I thought it was a big deal in my 7th grade head. But anyways, aside from that little Valentine's, I've never had a Valentine's before. I have actually never been in a relationship on Valentine's Day. The closest I've come was I was dating someone and we broke up, I think like 2 weeks before Valentine's Day. And then also the last guy that I officially dated, we I guess were talking like a week or two before Valentine's Day. So I feel like he gave me a gift, but I don't think we hung out on Valentine's Day because it would have been a little weird because we weren't actually together. But anyways, so yeah, it's been really tough for me. I guess this year I haven't thought about it that much. I think it's just because social media in general has been saturated just with engagements and weddings. A lot of people put off their weddings that they were supposed to have in either 2020 or 2021, at the earlier part. So I feel like the second half of 2021, it was just flooded with weddings, engagements, vacations, all the things. And it's just oh my gosh, I just can't get a break from this relationship content. And it's really hard as someone who truly does want a relationship. I have been single since I guess August 2018. Actually thought I was gonna get back together with my last boyfriend, but he had other plans, and shortly after we broke up, he started dating someone else, and as far as I know, they're still together. So that has been really tough, just because I am a really huge hopeless romantic. I really love rom-coms. You say romance, I say give me all the romance, give me all the feels. I've just always been like that. I think because I was a typical person who grew up with all of the Disney movies, the Disney Channel movies, and obviously at the end, the underdog or the most unpopular girl in school ends up getting with the most popular guy, and they live happily ever after. So I've always had that dream in my head for how my love life would go. But sadly, it has not gone as planned, and I am 26. I almost said 27. I'm 26. And when I was younger, even in high school, I was okay, even though I don't have anyone right now, I was so young in high school. I was I'll have someone in college. I get to college and I'm I'll find someone in grad school. I'm in grad school. I'm almost done with grad school, and literally there's no one in sight right now. And so a lot of times that does get defeating. Is I said, with social media, it's just flooded. I cannot go a day without someone announcing a pregnancy, announcing an engagement, announcing a boyfriend reveal, a girlfriend reveal, all of that. If y'all don't know what that is, that's basically it's the first time you post them on their feed usually, or your feed. And it's this huge thing. People used to call them probates, BAE, probates. I don't think anyone really calls them that anymore. But yeah, so I don't know. So that's kind of what I'm dealing with. And I also love very, very, very hard. So I think it's really hard off the bat for someone to kind of once they realize that, I feel that sometimes will run people away, because like I am really passionate. I do really care a lot, even if it's just like my platonic relationship with my girlfriends. Like, I am just the type of person that gives 100% in all of my friendships and like romantic relationships. So I know sometimes that potentially could scare people off. And so I am trying to work on that and not be as like so overbearing and so all in when it comes to romantic relationships. However, even though I'm trying to work on that, I can't really like actively work on it because I'm not actually talking to anyone. Like, I haven't really romantically talked to anyone since like almost a year. And I wouldn't even call that last situation like I don't know what that was. It's just, yeah, it's been rough. Like, I haven't been on an actual date since summer of 2019. So it has been quite a minute. However, I have been in little, I guess, like situationships or whatever that have like just been really, really bad. And we'll get into that, I guess, in another video, or maybe not. It's a lot. But yeah. So that's it. I've had like little crushes like here or there. I say, quote unquote, I've gotten my heart broken just from having my expectations like way, way up here, and then just realizing like, oh, that person actually isn't interested in me. They'll never be interested in me. Like, and then I kind of just go, well, I go down the rabbit hole of I'm not good enough. Maybe if I looked this way, if my hair was this way, if I looked a certain way, if I looked like an Instagram influencer, like all of these things go through my head, like as if I don't even know if I would actually like them. There's a quote, I don't know who said it, but I feel like I've seen it somewhere, and it's like, you need to like make sure you actually like them first. So a lot of times I do get caught up in my head about idealizing a specific person, being like, oh my gosh, like this will be great because this, and this, just basing it off of like what they post on social media and like how they talk about things. Meanwhile, I haven't even like physically met them. Like, we haven't really had a full conversation. So how am I supposed to go off of what I see on social media when a lot of times people like hype themselves up when in real life that's not how they are, or that is like their goals for the future, but that's not like actually how they are now? Which it's a good thing to work towards, but you want to like date someone for what they are now, not what they could be and their potential. So also, just in general about single life, it's just really hard these days because of the stupid pandemic. Like, I do know things could be 10 times worse. I could be sick in the hospital. I could have family members that are sick in the hospital. And I could just be at a disadvantage as far as like health-wise. But like, luckily, I'm pretty healthy. I have both my vaccines. I have my booster shot. So all's good in that area. But as far as like COVID and like the social implications that it's had, it's like just been terrible for me because I have general anxiety. If you watched any of my other videos on mental health, you know that I have really bad anxiety and pretty bad depression. And so I have really bad COVID anxiety. So basically, I really only feel comfortable with spending time with my parents, my mom, my dad, my stepdad, and that's about it. If I do hang out with friends, it's usually like outside. I don't really feel comfortable going out to eat. Don't really feel like going to parties. I mean, I really wasn't much of a party person like pre-pandemic. So people might be like, okay, so like it's obvious why you might be single because like you're not putting yourself out there. You're not physically going anywhere to like meet new people. And like that's the thing with COVID, it can really expose yourself doing anything when you leave your house. You really want something. So it's like, would you rather like potentially meet someone and get into a relationship and potentially expose yourself to COVID, or just like not expose yourself to COVID and then just like never get into a relationship? not saying that you have to go out and like physically meet people, but like obviously like I'm on dating apps, so it's like once you've had like a few conversations, you're gonna like naturally like want to meet the person. And so I actually haven't gotten to that point on dating apps because the dating apps are absolutely sucking right now. Like they're terrible. I think it's just because like everyone who is not in a relationship are on the apps, because I feel like before people who were against dating apps were like, oh, I'll just go out and meet people in person. But now since it has been kind of limited with COVID as far as people going out and meeting people, they're like, oh, well, I have nothing else to do, so like let me hop on the apps. So I feel like the quality of guys personally has gone way down. And then recently I've been thinking about this. I've been on the dating apps like consistently since like 2019 when I was still living in Chicago. So I've been on dating apps for like 3 years consistently. So it's like there are only so many people who are single. Granted, like there's a cycle of people who are like getting in a relationship and then they're getting out of relationships, so they might be coming onto the app after they enter a relationship. However, like I feel like I've literally seen almost everyone on the dating apps. Like it's so bad. Like I'm like swiping or doing whatever, and I'm always seeing the same people. And that's also a separate video of just like on dating apps and like my experience using them and like why I still like will use them even though I'm so frustrated, because like at this point, how else am I going to meet anyone unless like people say people meet people on social media? I'm like, okay, like Instagram, I can see that you can like slide into someone's DMs, they can slide into your DMs. Twitter, like same thing, but it's still like not that big pool. And then also you got to be careful because like on Instagram, like someone might be in a relationship and I might just like not post the person like that they're dating, and like that's happened to me before where I've like slid into someone's DMs and they're like, actually I have a girlfriend, and I'm like, oops, like how was I supposed to know that? So yeah, that can be a little like tricky. But I've heard people be like, oh yeah, we met on Instagram, and I'm just like, houseway. So yeah, so that I'm just like at an all-time high, like frustrated with dating apps. Like I used to have a thing where like I would just like go on them like almost all the time. Like whenever I had free time, I'd be like swiping, like looking through them. Now I pretty much go on like before I go to sleep. And so it's like very minimal, because by the time I like do my bedtime routine and I'm like in the bed and I'm like about to go to sleep, I have like maybe a good 10-15 minutes before I like drift off to sleep. So it's very like minimal putting time into swiping on dating apps. So maybe that is also the problem. And lately on Hinge, you're able to like change your location without paying extra. Well, I don't know if this is like the regular Hinge, because I pay for premium on Hinge, and you're able to change your location without having to pay. On the other apps, you have to usually pay to change your location. And so I've been like just like choosing like random cities, and I have to say there are definitely cuter people in other cities. So I don't know if it's just like what I said before, I've seen everyone, or it's just like Atlanta just like is not where it's at as far as dating. And that just like might be the case, because I have heard other people say that there are specific cities to go to if you want to find a husband, or if like you want to find a wife. And so I may need to like look into that. Granted, I'm not trying to move anywhere for someone unless it's my crush from The Bachelor, and I'm not gonna say their name, but if y'all follow me on Instagram or if you follow me on TikTok, you know who my crush is on my crush is on Bachelor. Anyways, like I will move to anywhere in the world for him. But that is also another YouTube, and that goes with unrealistic standards, because I have built up this huge idea of what this guy is like in my head, and I literally could meet him and he could be a complete a-hole and a jerk, and I would still have the strongest feelings that I have for him now, and that is clearly an issue. Anyways, but like I was saying, yes, change your location. That's like tips. That's like a tip that I don't know. I just like randomly was like, let me change my location. But the only problem is that like after you match with some people, they're like, oh, I want to hang out. And I'm like, actually, I'm like in like 4 states over. So we actually probably can't hang out anytime soon. But like if we want to keep talking. So it really just like depends. And one of my friends was like, you should probably like disclose that in your app, so on your profile. So I always go back and forth. Like now on my Hinge, there's like a prompt that said like something that you should know about me, and then it's like ... I said that like dating in Atlanta sucks, so I've been changing my location. Before I had the like, I said the same prompt and it was like, I'm trying to find where the cutest guys live. So to like put that disclaimer so people know, because like I know I like get so annoyed when I match with someone and they're like, oh, I'm only here for the weekend. I'm like, then why are you typing here? So I know I'm being hypocritical, but it's just like, I don't know. If I say it up front, then like I guess it's fine. As far as like being single on Valentine's Day, I don't really have any big plans. I used to go out with my dad for dinner if I was in town. However, like with COVID, we aren't really eating out these days. I don't want to say I'm going to try to stay off social media because I know that like that's not going to be the case. But usually, as far as work, usually Mondays are kind of busy, just like with the weekend passing and things. Like still like with my job, like things are constantly going on. So like I do have to definitely catch up on Mondays since I don't work over the weekends. So hopefully like that will be the case. And if anyone else is watching this and you are single, just know that you're not alone and it's not you, and that your person will come at some point. I hate saying, oh, like your person will be here soon or like sometime soon. I don't know. I hate that because my mom says that all the time. I'm always like, well, what if I end up alone? And she's like, no, like you won't be alone. You'll be with your husband and your family. And I'm just like, there's like actually a very real chance that I might not find someone, and that's definitely terrifying. I really try hard not to think about it because my mom always tells me that like God knows what's in my heart, so it's like they will give me what I want as far as a relationship when it's time. Like who knows the person I'm supposed to be with, like it might not be on, like they might be going through things or like just different timeline things. And so I try to be really patient. And some days I'm really good at it. Some days I'm like, I've been really into TikTok lately and I'm really trying to grow. So if y'all could give me a follow on TikTok, I love y'all for that. But some days I'm like, okay, I have my groove of like working, making TikToks, like being really engaging on TikToks and like social media and just like feeling like I'm living my best life. Like I'm like, oh, like I don't need a boyfriend because like I have so much time to make TikToks and like I don't have to worry about like being done at a certain time or like meeting up with someone or like worrying about making TikToks in front of them, because I definitely feel like I would be really self-conscious. But so some days I'm like, yes, like I wouldn't say I love being single because I feel like I've never actually have been like, wow, I love this. No, like every day I'm just like, oh, it'd be really nice even if it's someone just like sitting on the couch next to me, like watching a movie or like watching a show, or even like at night, like going to sleep next to me, like as far as like when it's time for us to like live together, even if we're not living together, just like, you know, like sleeping over at each other's places. Like I think about that so much. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like saying that I have times that I say like, oh my gosh, I love being single, because that's not the case. But some days I'm like, oh wow, like this isn't as bad as I thought, because like I'm able to do like what I want when I want. And a lot of times when people like say enjoy like the benefits of being single, because once you get into a relationship you're not really gonna have like being able to like have like all of your time to yourself, which is like very true. So that thinking has kind of like grown on me, because before it's like, what are you talking about? Like of course, like I always want to be with my person, or like they'll give me space. But like I do know that sometimes like certain people want to be with each other all the time, and sometimes it's like the opposite. So you really got to like work around with their time and like schedule things and like balance it. So I do like having like the sense of like my free time really is free time. Like I literally can do whatever I want, and there's no one being like, oh, like, but I want to see you, or I want to do this, I want to do that. So that is nice. But like I said, a lot of more times than not, I'm just like, I really want to be like cuddled up right now, like with my person, like watching my favorite show and like just being like so happy with life. But that's not the case right now. So I just want to let y'all know it's okay, and we will get through it. Our person is hopefully like on the way. I literally am like, okay, like where the heck are they? Like, don't they know that I'm like waiting for them? If y'all made it this far, thanks so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and please share if you feel like this video could help someone or someone might relate to this video. And make sure your post notifications are on so you never miss when I upload, because I will be making more videos, so stay tuned. Don't forget, if you want to connect more, follow me on my socials. My Twitter is @ShyGirlErin. My Instagram and my TikTok is ShyGirlSentiments. And my website is also ShyGirlSentiments. And I also have a separate Bachelor Nation pop culture TikTok @ShyGirlSpillsTea if you're into that. So I look forward to seeing y'all there, and have a happy Valentine's Day. Bye.